friends. Howdy, how are you? I'm August, this is Cozy Rosie Reads, and this is the start of another weekly reading vlog. I am at my parents' house. This is their little library thing. My partner and I are helping cat sit my parents' cats while they are on a little vacation. A few days ago, my partner and I went to the beach. We had a very spontaneous beach day trip, and we brought, if you saw in the montage, The Institute by Stephen King. We both have copies of it, and we're gonna do like a little book club, but we didn't get any reading done. We did not read anything, but we just had such an amazing time. Friends, my life lately, just so much fun, so much adventure, so much like spontaneity and travel and fun things, and I'm just having a wonderful time. But today, because I do have a huge wedding tomorrow, it's gonna be a relaxing working from home day, just kind of like chilling out in my baggy t-shirt and just hanging out at home. I want to get some work done. But I would actually really love to finish the book I'm currently reading, which is Luster by Leilani. I just hit chapter 6 this morning, which is page 141. Loving this book, friends. Loving this book. So I desperately, freakishly just want to read it. I didn't get to talk about this in my last vlog, necessarily like the plot or anything, so I'll give it to you now. I do know that this book was a little bit more popular when it first came out, which I do believe it was a 2020 release. Yes, 2020. I found this at Goodwill used, and it was just like an amazing find. Basically, we're following this young woman who is, I think, 23 years old, and her name is Edie, and she lives in New York City. She's aimless, she's floundering, she's going through a lot of life things of having a hard time with her job. She's a very sexual person, and she has sex with a lot of different people, and there's a lot of descriptions of what that sex is like, so if you're not into that, definitely this book might not be for you. But the writing style, you just learn so much about this character through this author's writing style. You find out so many things about her personality, how she views the world. She is a painter as well, so she paints. She also doesn't have a lot of money. She lives in an apartment that has like a cockroach infestation and I think even like mice and stuff, and she strikes up a relationship basically with a married man who's in an open marriage, and he's white. Edie is black, and they meet up. They have this very odd relationship, very strange. And he is older than her as well, and she even says like she's just oddly attracted to him. It almost feels like she doesn't want to be attracted to him or want his attention, but she does. She wants his attention and she wants to be closer to him. And then she goes to his house in New Jersey and kind of just makes herself at home while he's not there one day, and she runs into his wife. And his wife is just this super interesting, weird character, and she is aware of the open marriage. She's aware that there's somebody else, but this is their first time meeting. Through a series of very strange events, Edie finds herself living at this couple's home. The wife, Rebecca, has invited Edie to stay with her and her family. This couple also has a black adopted daughter. So that makes the dynamics really interesting and strange, and Edie is trying really hard to like even know how to navigate this situation. Like, she doesn't even feel welcome in this home, but she's staying there. She feels like she was asked to give their adopted daughter Akila guidance, but she really just does not know how to navigate this at all, and it's just such an odd situation to be in. And the part where I'm at is Rebecca, the wife, invited Edie to stay for a few days because Edie is now without an apartment and doesn't have anywhere to stay and doesn't have a job, and without the knowledge of the man, whose name I'm blanking on. What's his name? Eric. So Eric has just come home from a conference and is about to find out that Edie has been staying with his wife and daughter. Weird. It's just like so uncomfortable, such a weird situation, but the writing style is so impeccable, my friends. Like, I cannot get over this writing style. And this is Leilani's first novel. I cannot wait for more. The writing style, was so amazing. It's so many like long run-on sentences, so many emotions, so many references. We learned so much, like I said, about Edie's backstory, and it just, as the book goes, it just flows so easily from like what is currently happening in her life in this house to what her childhood was like growing up, what her parents were like. She comes from a very dysfunctional family, and a lot of tragedy and trauma has happened to her. And it's just so interesting. We're hearing about her past romantic relationships. Like, we just learned so much about this character. And I feel like that's something that I've honestly been missing in a lot of the books I've been reading lately, is like a concrete character that feels tangible and real, and we actually get to learn a lot about them. So I'm absolutely loving this. I don't have much more to go. Let's see here. How many more pages do I have actually? 80 or 90. So I would love to finish this today, just get some work done at home, and then maybe find a spot that I can read outside. Who knows? Who knows what the day is going to bring? All I know is that tomorrow is going to be a very, very long day, like I said, because I have to travel for this wedding, so it's going to be a 12, maybe 13-hour work day. So I'm just mentally prepping for that, and I want to relax and finish this book. So I hope you all are doing really well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and pack up, head home, and I will check in with you all a little bit later. Thank you again for being here. Bye. Good morning, friends. It is Sunday morning. Nope, it's Saturday. Oh. It is very early Saturday morning. I am mentally, physically preparing for this very, very long wedding day. As a wedding photographer, Saturdays and weekends are long. About a 15-hour workday, and I am having to like really mentally prep for that. Anyway though, yesterday was amazing. It was such a wonderful day. My partner and I spontaneously decided to go to a park, and we walked for about 3 miles. Got to move my legs, which was awesome. I went back to my parents' house, bought a huge tub of watermelon, sat in the sunshine, read more, and then when I came home, I did finish reading Luster by Leilani last night. This was such an enjoyable reading experience, and I'm so happy I read it. This writing style, I'm just like not over the writing style. It was just phenomenal and beautiful and intense. Loved the writing and the sentence structure and the words used, everything about it. Like, the writing style itself is just absolutely amazing. The book ended on a really gorgeous paragraph that I absolutely loved, but honestly, when I closed the book, I didn't feel a whole lot. And if you've been here for a while, you might know that that's a really big indicator for me if I truly enjoyed a book, is if I close close it after finishing it and I feel something. With this one, I just kind of felt like, okay, I'm done with it. So I was kind of hoping to feel a little bit more emotionally impacted by this book. And for me, even if I like a writing style, even if I enjoy a plot or it was a really enjoyable reading experience, if I don't feel anything really, if I don't feel super connected, if I don't find myself thinking about characters or plot, if I don't feel something, and typically I'm a very melancholic, bittersweet person. I love that. There's actually a quiz for seeing how bittersweet you are, quote unquote, based on the book by Susan Cain, the book Bittersweet, which Book of the Month kindly sent me when they sponsored a video way back when. And I took it along with my family, and I had the highest rating of my family. I got a 9. I'm a 9 on the bittersweet scale, so I feel things very, very deeply, and that's what I want in literature too. I want to be emotional, and I want to feel something. This book didn't really give me happiness. It was an excitement to look forward to reading it. I really looked forward to being able to pick up this book and read it, but emotionally I didn't feel anything. So for me, I'm so sad to say that this is like a 3 or 4 star. It's still an impeccable book, but for me personally, and that's why I don't rate books on Goodreads anymore unless it is like a very, very strong 4 or 5 star, because I have very high standards in terms of what I want a book to do to me emotionally. I want it to screw with me emotionally. And that's something that makes me feel connected to a book, is if I emotionally resonate with it. So this is like a 3 or 4 star. It's not a bad book at all. It's just in my own rating, in my own head. How am I going to view this book after I've set it down, after it's been a few months? Am I going to look fondly back on this book? But it was still an amazing reading experience. So I hope in me explaining my own personal rating helps to share my thoughts a little bit more on how I rate books myself, but I don't give public ratings for books typically. I just don't find that very fair, because I am not necessarily picky, but I know what works for me, and it's because it's when I feel it. I literally can feel it. But overall, really enjoyed this book. I highly recommend it. There are a lot of content warnings though, so maybe look into them beforehand. There are a lot of content warnings, a lot of very serious and upsetting things, but all in all, it is a wonderful book about racial differences, class differences, social economic standings, a woman in her very early 20s trying to make it in the world as a young Black woman, exploring sexuality, exploring relationships and love, exploring herself, and overall just trying to navigate this very odd situation to the best of her ability, while we learn so much about what makes her up as a person. And we can see what makes this character Edie up as a person. We see so much of her backstory, so much of what she does in her private life away from the eyes of other people. But when she interacts with people in real life, we see the dialogue, she's very quiet, almost standoffish, and very reserved, and doesn't give a whole lot away, which I find really interesting, because we get this huge deep dive into her brain and we can see what she's doing without an audience. And then the last paragraph kind of tied that all together, which I thought was really cool, because it was already something I was thinking, and I do like when books do that. They just kind of give a little, you were on the right track kind of feeling. So overall, really, really enjoyed this book. Finished that one last night, and then I immediately started, because I was still awake and wanted to start something new, Killer Content by Kylie Roache. I'm gonna say Roache. This cover just brings me so much joy, this magenta. I love it. So I did start reading Killer Content, which I did talk about in my June TBR. I will link that down below for you all. And this is just so fun. Okay, I fell asleep while reading, so I have no idea. I think I got about 20 pages in here. So much fun. This follows a group of teenagers who live in a beachside mansion in California, and they are a TikTok house. So they make TikTok videos together. They all have a huge TikTok following, and they're called the Lit Layer. And I picked this up because it just sounds like such fun summer energy. Something a little bit light, a little easier to read, and it is a murder mystery because one of the TikTok stars is found dead. I have not gotten to that part yet. Each chapter talks about how many days before or after the incident things are taking place. So we open up in the prologue that says 11 days after, and then we hop into another person's perspective that says like 2 days before or 17 hours before, something like that. And each chapter also tells you who it's written from. And I find it really interesting actually because, you know, I picked this up and I did talk about it in my June TBR, this is a book that I most likely will not give high rating for because it's not something in my wheelhouse typically, but I really love thrillers and mysteries and fun action adventure stuff in the summertime, even in movies. The movies I watch completely change in the summer because I want a fun summer romp, and this is it exactly. But when I started reading it, we're following a character named Gwen, and her writing style, and it is written from first person perspective from Gwen. She says, like, how can I blah blah blah, like blah blah blah. So it's actually written in here, and I was like, ooh man, if the whole book is written like this, it's gonna drive me nuts and absolutely bonkers. And the writing style was just like very simple and over explanatory of how much money she makes, and talking about, I keep my professionally plumped lips sealed. I hate when people think I'm dumb. People assume that since I'm 17, platinum blonde, and basically as close to looking like Barbie as La Mer skincare, the Tracy Anderson method, and Dr. Malibu, plastic surgeon to the stars, can get me, I must also be shallow. But I'm not. I'm actually quite smart in my own way. Like, I was trying so hard not to be judgmental of the writing style and the references. I was like, ooh, this feels like way too apparent and blatantly obvious. And then this character was also quoting Paris Hilton. Like, it was just a lot to open up the book with. I was like, ooh, I'm not getting a very good first impression of this writing style or this book, and I was really cringing. She was talking about her mom not being a Kris Jenner type, and I was just like, oh, there's so many references, but that's the reason why I picked this up, is because this book is a time capsule. It was published in 2021. It's a time capsule book. It has so many modern references. It's a TikTok house. We don't know how long TikTok's going to be around for, but right now it's the biggest platform, and that's why I wanted to pick it up, because this literally is the book of now, you know, and it'll be interesting to see how it ages. Then we change to another character named Kat. And she is also in the TikTok house, but she doesn't do any of the dances. She is more of a comedic TikTok star. So she doesn't do any of the dancing videos. She's a little bit different in that sense. And the writing style changed when Kat was talking, and I really enjoy Kat's writing style. The writing style is just a little bit more fluid and dense and a little bit bigger words and more reflective and a little bit more emotional. So I actually find that done really well, where so far I've only read from Gwen and Kat's perspectives, but the writing style changes with it, and I think that that is really cool. So I'm gonna do my absolute best not to just like completely bash this book just because the content makes me cringy. TikTok in general makes me super cringe to think about. I think social media is such a weird concept. Everyone can be a celebrity nowadays. Like, anybody can be a celebrity, and the same can be with YouTube. You know, you can just be like a normal person, you create content, and all of a sudden people know who you are all over the world, and it's just a very odd thing. But I did want to point out too that this author looks so young. I have no idea how old she is, but kudos to Kylie. She did the damn thing. She wrote a book, she published a book. It is not my intention to be like, oh my gosh, this book is so blah, blah, blah. Like, I actually want to enjoy this book and enjoy it. I want to enjoy this book and enjoy it. Sentences. So I know on my June TBR I was kind of like laughing at the concept of this, how it sounded pretty hokey. And yeah, for me it does, because it's not something I would typically pick up. But so far I'm really enjoying it. It's exactly what I'm looking for, with like a fun summer romp that I just want to fly through. I do just want to curl up and read this book, or take it on a picnic and read outside and just fly through it. I think it would be so much fun. I love thrillers and murder mysteries in the summer. It's a completely different vibe and energy. I am excited to dip more into this and to talk about it. Oh, Winston just woke up. Good morning. Perfect timing for me to wrap this up. I will check in with you all later. Hi friends, it has been a few days. I have not updated you in a little bit, but it has been an amazing past few days. Oh my gosh, Alec and I went to this like rooftop bar, which I don't think I got very much footage of, but it was amazing. And then we went to this exhibit called Beyond Van Gogh, which I know has been circulating around a bunch of cities lately, but it's finally in my city, and we got tickets and it was amazing. Alec and I got like so emotional and like teary-eyed, like the music with the art and the light projections and the installation and how it moved and how you could like move around this huge room so many times and see so many different things. It was amazing. It was such a wonderful experience. And I've just had like a really wonderful past few days. I've also been working a lot. I have a lot of weddings coming up. I photographed that wedding. Have I even updated you since I photographed that wedding? I don't think I have. It's just been really busy in terms of like all my downtime when I'm not out doing fun things has been working, and it's been a lot. I have a huge workload. I'm still not caught up, so I have not really had a chance to like update you all. But tomorrow also I'm waking up at like 4:30 in the morning. My sister and I are driving to, hello. Yeah, tomorrow my sister and I are going to the lakeshore at like, we'll probably be there around like 5:15 in the morning because we're doing some location and also like some sunrise scouting. We're filming one of her music videos later in July. We're filming it in July. So we're location scouting, but also seeing how the sun rises over on the lakeshore to see what time we should like end filming for the vibe that we're going for. So I have to be up so early tomorrow. So it's gonna be an early night. I'm gonna curl up, get ready for bed, and fall asleep while reading killer content, which I have really been enjoying. I haven't been able to read it today yet because today has been so like go. I am really enjoying this. Kind of matches my nails right now, which I absolutely love. I'm really enjoying this. Like when I read it, I just keep thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, just one more chapter, because each chapter is only like 2 or 3 pages long. You gonna step in front of the camera? There it is. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Things are happening. The murder has happened. A girl named Sydney is found dead in a pool from a gunshot wound, and the police are at the lit layer interviewing everyone, and some secrets are already kind of coming out. People are already hiding information, and we're bouncing. Each chapter is from a different person's perspective, and I'm just really enjoying it. Like, it's such a good summer thriller, and I'm honestly just having so much fun with it. I'm really loving this book so far. I cannot wait to keep reading it, and I'm really looking forward to curling up tonight after a very busy day, just being able to like read and relax and go to bed early for this very early morning. Like photo session, location scouting I'm doing tomorrow. And then tomorrow the rest of the day is just gonna be working from home because I have so much work to do still. I'm in that kind of weird like hamster wheel feeling where it's like I'm go, and I feel like I'm doing a lot and I'm out and about a lot, but I'm also like I'm still working, but I don't ever feel like I'm catching up enough or like hitting all the things that I want to get done in a day. Anyone else have like weeks or days like that where you really are putting in so much effort, but you're just like not seeing the end yet and you're just like still going? That's how I've been feeling the past few days, but life is still really good, and I'm really happy that I got to have some fun hangouts during this like busy time, and things are ramping up in my business and getting busier. And I can't wait to hang out with this book. I'm so excited. So that is that. Sorry, it's not a big update in terms of the book I'm reading. I should say what page I'm on now. I am now on page 96. Quite a good dent, and I'm excited to keep reading it and read more tonight. I can't put it down. Like, I'm just like one more chapter because it's so easy to read a chapter, and it's just so much fun. So that's my little check-in, friends. Hello friends. I got some fun book mail and I'm so grateful and so happy and so excited to share it with you all. I did talk about this one in my mid-year freak out book tag, but I was wonderfully gifted The Existence of Amy by the author Lana Grace Riva. I am so excited. Thank you so much, Lana, for sending me a copy of your novel. This is stunning and beautiful and I cannot wait to read it. Thank you. I love receiving book mail from the authors and this seems so up my alley. I'm really excited to read it, and that's the first book mail. The second one is Clever Fox kindly reached out to me. This video is not sponsored by them, but they reached out to me asking if they could send me one of their planners. And I said, heck yeah. If you've been here for a while, you know that I have a dedicated planning system, and I'm so excited to try a new one by Clever Fox. So I got this in the mail. We are going to unbox it together. It's in a box, which is beautiful. I use planners every day. This might be a little loud. Every single morning. That is my morning routine. I get my coffee and I immediately plan my day, what's coming up, my to-do lists. I love that stuff. I don't know. It's just so satisfying for my brain to write everything down. I'm definitely a tangible paper person, so I absolutely love that. Oh my, this box is stunning. Look at that. I'm keeping this box. This is so satisfying. Winston's coming in. It's magnetic. It's a magnetic box. We're keeping this box. Okay, I don't know why I geek out so much over packaging, but lift the flap. Oh my gosh, it comes with a little instruction manual, how it works. Premium weekly planner, that's the one I got. There's a whole pamphlet that goes over how to use it, which is absolutely fantastic. This is wonderful. Friends, what in the world is this? I decided to get it in the, I think this is the forest green. Let's unpack this. There's a little pull tab. Oh, this is so much thicker than I anticipated. This is something. This is so beautiful. Here we go. This is beautiful. So it opens up with, what is the vision for the life I want? What is my life's purpose? What is my mission? I'm grateful for, my affirmations. What am I passionate about? What brings me joy in life? Skills to learn and habits to adopt this year. Space for a vision board, my goals in all these different life areas. We have health and fitness, business and career, family and friends, relationships and romance, finance, personal development, fun and recreation, and spiritual. 3-month goals. And then we go into this make your own kind of calendar, but then there are plans, habits to adopt, skills to learn, things to avoid, places to go, people to see. People to see for introverts. That's amazing. This month's goal, this month's wins, how I'll improve next month. Oh my gosh, and then monthly review. And then we go into the next month. So there's a full year's worth at the very beginning of this journal, a whole year's worth of monthly planning. There are monthly reviews for each one, but then there's also focus on the 3 months. So you can write down your 3-month goals and there's a review of that as well. But then you go into, after that, weekly planning after the 12 months. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the bottom here. This week's main goal, reward if achieved, this week's priorities, personal to-do list, habits and skills, love a little habit tracker, this week's wins, and how I'll improve next week. So this is very goal-oriented, weekly and full year planning, which I absolutely love. I definitely need to focus more on my goals and what I want to achieve because I have so many, but it's hard to write down and make them tangible other than, the day-to-day things that are on our to-do list. Think broader. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Clever Fox, for sending me this. I am so excited to use it. This is beautiful. And I think I got the forest green color. We also received stickers. Look at these. Wait, these are actually really cute. Wow. Oh my, so many sticker sheets. Thank you so incredibly much, Clever Fox. I am so appreciative of this gift, and I will link all of their information down below. You can use my code CozyRosie to get 10% off of Clever Fox, your new planner. I did get this size, but they also have a bigger desk planner if you like this format for goals and planning, achievement, dreams coming true, all of that fun stuff. They do have a bigger format as well, but I got their standard kind of
notebook size. I'm so excited to dig into this. I will definitely get some footage of me using it, probably in future vlogs, because I want to start this maybe like July 1st, you know, like on a set date that like it makes sense to start a new planner. So thank you again so much, Clever Fox. This is absolutely stunning. I cannot get over the color and texture of this. I want to eat it. So I will link all of their information down below. Now on with the program. Hi friends, I am at a park I've never been to before and it's stunning. I feel like I'm on vacation. Kind of reminds me of when Alec and I were in Virginia. I'm meeting a couple here for their engagement session. I'm wearing my keys in my belt loop. FYI, if you hear that jingling. Apparently people can ride their horses here and I'm just very envious of that. Like, I want to ride a horse through that. Are you kidding me? I had a little bit of a drive to get here and we're gonna take some engagement photos. I'm really excited. Looks like there's a river here, a creek, but it's a little bit of a hike to the trailhead to get there. So I think we might be doing a little bit of hiking. Have I ever said I love my job? I love my job. I get to like just be out in nature and hang out with really cool people and take their pictures. I got to read a little bit of killer content this morning. I'm not making as much progress as I would like to. Story of the year, honestly. But that's okay. I'm really enjoying it. I just have a really big workload, but then I'm also having more of a social life right now. So I'm just still trying to find that balance. I'm gonna sign off and get my gear ready for this hike.
Yellow. From me and my ridiculously oversized water bottle. You know, instead of hot girl summer, I decided to partake in hydrated girl summer. Question of the day, is the water bottle really big? Or am I just a really tiny girl? Just a miniature. Yeah, yellow, hello. Things have happened in terms of the country I live in. I'm angry, I'm sad. Based on like the conversations I've had with some friends and people I know, it's just a lot of rage about the state of this country and how freaking backwards we are and how far back we're going. And I'm just angry. I'm pissed off. It's just like this bubbling blood rage of the place I live, and it disgusts me. So it's been a few days of not talking to the camera and honestly just not knowing how to process this stuff at all, not knowing what to do, how to do it, what to feel. Just allowing myself to feel angry, very, very, very angry, and just let those emotions happen and not sugarcoat them. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't really have any eloquent thoughts or things to talk about in terms of that, but just know that I'm angry and scared, very terrified of where this is gonna lead and how it's gonna affect more, because this is just the beginning and it's terrifying. So a lot of shit to process. But anyway, I don't know a good segue from that, because it's been a few days since the announcement of the overturning of Roe versus Wade, and it's just a lot of anger. It's just a lot of rage. Hopefully there will be some action and some change, and in a progressive way, in a positive way, and regain body autonomy. What a crazy concept to have body autonomy. Ooh, okay, I'm not gonna get into this because I am going to get so angry. Okay. Anyway, I have finished reading Killer Content as of last night. So much fun. This book was just so much fun to read. I really did have like a really good time. There also featured a sapphic romance in here. We love to see it. That was a really nice like accompaniment, especially because June is Pride Month and I haven't intentionally read any LGBTQ plus literature. I'm not saying I didn't want to, but I work off of a TBR jar. But so it was just a really nice little treat to have a sapphic romance in here as well. So I will say about like halfway through the book, I was starting to get feelings that like I knew where things were going and that I thought I knew who like the killer was and what happened. And I was kind of right, but not fully. And there was a bigger twist that I thought was just really enjoyable. Like I really did think it was a lot of fun and it kept me on my toes, and the short chapters just kept me reading and really engaged. And I'd finish a chapter and it'd be like a little cliffhanger and I just wanted to read more. But the the actual ending of the book, I like turned the page and it just like ended and I was like, oh, that was the ending. The last line I read was the ending. It did not feel necessarily like wrapped up or finished or ending on any note of any meaning, like at all. It did have really good conversation though about social media and teenagers and what it does to a brain that's still maturing, putting so much emphasis on appearances, on products, on superficial goods and materials, a lot of materialism, getting external validation as a person, but not taking up space in real life, not really having a personality. And just a lot of really good conversations about the difference between teenagers having a personality or if they're given this like celebrity kind of status at a young age, their personality becomes a brand. Their identity is just a brand, and it's only based on how other people are viewing them and how complete strangers are viewing them, which is really interesting. So there were really good conversation pieces, a lot of dialogue and little tidbits of insight as to what social media can do and how it can turn people's brains, especially those that are still maturing and understanding the world and making mistakes, what it can do to people. And I thought that was really interesting, and I wish there was a little bit more because it was near the tail end of the book talking about how destructive social media can be, specifically like TikTok. But there was also a really good little segment in here too about what the future looks like in terms of social media and technology. Will TikTok become obsolete? Will there be a new platform soon? And will TikTok even matter? Will people be able to make as much money or status as they currently do?
Will there be a new platform that other people can just take off on and become, you know, more celebrities? What does it mean to be a celebrity these days? So it had a lot that I found really impactful and definitely mirrored my own thoughts on social media a lot, and I thought that was really intriguing. Downside to this book, though, that I will say that I just don't think really 100% made sense is that these characters, they're supposed to be like 17 years old. Also, my hair is driving me bonkers today. I don't know how to style this yet without the actual bangs. I don't know what I'm doing. So these characters are supposed to be 16, 17 years old. They're in high school, but they live in the lit layer. Some of them have like dropped out of high school to pursue this career, and they are the only ones making a ton of money in their household. So they're like providing for their families. And we are bouncing between like 5, 6 different characters, and they all did feel individual and unique, which I really enjoyed as well. I never got anyone confused, which was great for the author. Like, good job on the author for creating singular identities for these characters. But they are supposed to be teenagers, 16, 17 years old, living in this house unsupervised with access to a lot of alcohol, like an entire wine cellar. Questionable. A lot of parties with alcohol, which is whatever, like that happens. High school parties do happen. I'm not going to pretend I'm naive and that I was a perfect teenager, because I was not, especially in the States, I should clarify too, because drinking age is 21 here, which is very old and just seems way too old. That's another sidebar that doesn't need to be included. But what I did not think was realistic, sometimes the dialogue did feel a little cheesy and hokey and a little too over the top, like these full sentences that I'm like, even I wouldn't talk this way, let alone like a teenager who's like a TikTok star who's grown up in a little bit of a different era than I have. I'm a 95 baby myself. But if these kids are 16, 17, they were born after the new millennia. And there were just a lot of references in here to like 1990s style, celebrities, movies that like for me just didn't quite make sense, because yes, I know like 1990s like fashion and media has had like a resurgence recently, and I get that and I respect that. But also, I don't think that these characters would so clearly be making all of these like references. It just like did not work. I feel like it would have made more sense if they made more references to like early 2000s media. But there were a lot of 90s references, and I just didn't think for characters that were born after 2001, 2, etc., that they would even understand these references. Oh, a lot of like NSYNC references, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, that kind of stuff. Like, again, I know they're like cultural icons. A lot of people know who they are, but like I don't even know who they are, and I was a 90s kid. I don't know, that just didn't quite work for me. I think the references would have made more sense if it was more early 2000s, especially in terms of like childhood nostalgia, because it wasn't like they were talking about it as if like, you know, someone like me, a 90s baby, talking about like the Beatles or something. It felt different than that. I was like, it's just too close to their actual generation, but like still too far behind for them to actually know what that's about. And if they're only 16, 17 now, I feel like I highly doubt that they would be partaking in that media then. Now, at their age? I don't know. Am I just not giving teenagers enough credit, or am I just looking into this way too much? I'm just a little too hyper analytical, I guess. But overall, it was just really fun. Like, I actually really enjoyed the reading experience of this. It kept me on my toes. It did take me for like a little whirlwind. I did not anticipate the twist. There were, yeah, definitely some hokey parts, but I think overall the motive of the character who did it made sense. I think the place that this character went into after the murder, and in terms of like mental stability, because later on in the book we do get chapters from their perspective, I would have liked a little bit more. It was a very interesting character study on the motive and the things that took place right after the murder and the death. I thought that was just really interesting, and I loved that this was all like a game. It was a mind game, you know, setting people up, a lot of really odd clues and cryptic messages and popularity, celebrity status, being young kids and not being taken seriously by police or people of authority, but also these are kids who have a lot of money and they're celebrities, and they have a lot of adults wanting to take advantage of the money in a financial sense, but they still don't take these kids seriously in terms of their emotional needs, of their personalities and behaviors. It was just really interesting blend, and I'm like really grateful I read it. And I think it's something like this that face value, for me personally, I did have a feeling of like, ugh, like kind of scoffing, like this is just gonna be a fun hokey ride. But I find with literature like this, I can actually tear it apart a little bit more rather than like a literary fiction or even something that's more absurd and surrealist. There's more to bite into and there's more to tear apart because it is about modern society. It is about teenagers these days and adolescents and growing up. It is about the current climate of like social media and influencers, how anyone can be a celebrity no matter what age you are basically, which is very weird, about internet apps and connection to other people in the outside world, about celebrity, about fame, about money and status, and about what you're willing to do or not do to gain that, and is it worth letting go of. I think it just had a lot of commentary on it and I really enjoyed it. I like being able to dissect books like this and talk through them, which is also why I love having this platform in particular. I mean, I can't talk about the fear that I personally have around social media and how I perceive social media, specifically like TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. Like, I just don't feel like I quite understand it and I don't see a positive thing around it sometimes, and I really question social media. But that would also be the pot calling the kettle black at this point because I'm here on YouTube. But I do really greatly appreciate having this platform to be able to dissect books verbally like this and to give my full take on them and the things that it brings up in me and the thoughts that it gives me, and being able to have a platform and people who are interested in hearing my thoughts about it is just really rad. So I actually really do recommend Killer Content. It is a little bit darker than I anticipated as well. Quite graphic in terms of like gore, violence. It's still a young adult, I would say, definitely. If you just want like a fun summer romp, but if you take it through a lens of critical thinking of today's society, I think you might have a little bit more to gain from it rather than just like a fun summer thriller. So I really enjoyed that. I think I'm gonna be keeping this copy, and I think overall for me it was like a 4-star read. Like, I really did genuinely enjoy reading it. It wasn't a masterpiece in terms of the writing. I thought the plot was really interesting and unique, and I did really have a good time. I don't think it's a perfect book, but it's exactly what I wanted and what I was looking for, and I came away with it with a talking piece. I got to come out of this with having more to say than I anticipated, and all of this is just coming out of my mouth as I'm saying it. Did not know what the hell I was going to talk about when I came in front of the camera, but like, yeah, it gave me a lot to think about. The more I talk about it, the more it kind of comes out. So overall, I think this is a 4-star read. I really enjoyed it. I started a new book last night, so stay tuned for a new reading vlog. We'll see how quickly I can finish it because July is coming up very fast and I want to hop into my July TBR, but I'm really enjoying the book I started last night. Really. So definitely stay tuned for another reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let's do some emojis based on Killer Content. If you got to the end of this video, we have these kids doing some like peace signs and the love sign. I know there are emojis for that. Let's do some hand signs. And then let's also do some emojis that feature these colors, like that magenta and purple. I think would be really fun. So we'll do some hand emojis and some pink and purple emojis. I like leaving it open-ended because I love seeing what emojis you all pick. I don't want to just do like, use this one specific emoji. I love seeing like the string of emojis you all make. It's just so cool. I love seeing how your brains work and like what you pick. So that is that from me, friends. Thank you so incredibly much for being here. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I hope you all are doing well, despite the state of the world, despite the state of the States. I just really appreciate you all being here. You really are bright spots in my life. I can't wait to see you all again very soon in my next video. Stay cozy, my friends. Bye!